Next up, Ardea Resources. Ardea is advancing the multi-decade Goongarrie nickel cobalt project in WA toward production. To give an update on this, please welcome the Managing Director of Ardea, Brett Clark.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Who is Ardea? So Ardea comes from the Latin word meaning heron. So that's our origin. So February 2017, we spun out an IPO from Heron with a treasure chest of assets. During the year, we picked up on the cobalt ride, and our multiple from 20 cents got up to $2.20, so 11 times multiple. We also got the gong regarding IPO of the year in 2017. And we've then fast forward to complete our PFS as promised to the market by March 31st, 2018. Our flagship project is the Goongarrie cobalt nickel project. It's the largest undeveloped resource in the developed. It's the largest cobalt resource in the developed world. It's got significant scandium optionality as well, which will be in news flow in the future. We're also so safe and secure. We're not in the DRC. I noticed that Apple in the last couple of weeks has decided that they want to ensure that there's no conflict cobalt, and they've asked all their suppliers in their supply chain to actually start looking at sourcing their cobalt for all their supply chain. Canada, Australia and other provinces. We've recently completed our PFS, as I suggested. We had two cases, the base case of 1 million tonnes per annum and another case of 1.5 million tonnes as an option. So that's 25-year mine life, 5,500 tonnes per annum cobalt sulphate and 41,500 tonnes of nickel sulphate. And we're looking at commencing production 21-22, and I'll go through that corporate schedule in another slide. We're also looking at a scoping study of an upgrade of around 2.25 million tonnes per annum, and we should have that completed over the next week or so, and we should be announcing that to the market within the next couple of weeks. We believe that the economics will be better than where we're at the moment with our 1 million and 1.5 million tonne per annum cases. The definitive feasibility study, the DFS, we have commenced. We're drilling at the moment. We've an RC. We're about to mobilise again sonic drilling and diamond drilling, and we'll kick off that over the next month or two. And we're also doing a whole lot of metallurgical variability test work. We're also in the process of starting our pilot plant test work, and we're in commercial negotiations at the moment, and we'll kick that off in early June, and we'll have our first marketing samples of cobalt sulphate and nickel sulphate by the middle of June. Experienced management team. I've only been with Ardea for less than a month, a few weeks. Our founding managing director, Matt Painter, who's here today. Matt basically took the project all the way through to PFS and delivered on time with the PFS to the market. Matt is now focusing on our other treasure chest of assets, which are gold assets in Western Australia, as well as some of our assets in New South Wales. We've also picked up ex-head of metallurgy with SNC Lavalin, who'd been working on the Cleantech project up until November last year as the lead metallurgist. And her name's Sarah Mitchell, and she's on board and she's leading our technical component moving ahead with this project, with the Goongarrie project. We also have, with capital costs for a project of this size, we also have strong interest from strategic partners, North Asia, US, Germany. And so we are working with those groups at the moment, but we will be moving ahead with a strategic advisor, and we should appoint a strategic advisor very soon, so we run a competitive process. Corporate structure. So share price, I don't know what it was a while ago, but I think it got up to 94 cents today. Gives us a market cap just under 90 mil. 15 mil plus in the tin. We've got enough to complete our DFS. Major shareholders, we have a lot of US retail as major shareholders because the real research that's been done with it on our company, and only research has come out of Palo Alto and San Francisco, and hence the US retail coming on board. Very small board. I joined the board as in early April, and we have 4 directors on our board. Okay, our key flagship project, Goongarrie Nickel. So looking from the southeast, city of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, so we have 15 kilometres of mineralisation, cobalt nickel mineralisation. Our reserves are 40.1 million tonnes at 0.09% cobalt and 0.82% nickel. It's a very expansive project, and the 1 million tonne per annum PFS only picked up 5% of the resource. It's a readily scalable project with the results that we're starting to get through from our rheology test work, as well as the pilot plant test work that will be starting in early June with the largest laboratory-sized autoclave in the Southern Hemisphere. We believe that we'll be able to have a cookie-cutter approach, so multiples of 2.25 million tonne trains, but that also depends on a strategic partner that's got the balance sheet. So we're in a prime location, so we're blessed with infrastructure. So we have the main highway going up to Mount Keith. We also have a gas pipeline running adjacent to that highway, also a railway line, and we also have transmission lines. So we're very blessed with infrastructure. And we're also near Kalgoorlie, so we're 80 kilometres north. So most of you will know Kalgoorlie is just one of the major mining centres in Australia, and they have all the service and support that's required. As mentioned, PFS covers only 5% of the company's total resources. Highly scalable, multi-decade project, 1 million tonnes, that's our base case, 5.5% cobalt, 94.5% nickel recovery. Pre-cobalt C1 costs are in line with current worldwide operators. So we're looking at Coral Bay up in the Philippines, which is Sumitomo joint venture, and that project, our C1 costs are very much in line with that. That's also a Generation 5 pressure acid leach project. With respect to that, so the laterite projects in Kalgoorlie, so Murrin, Bulong and Cause, all in the early 2000s, late 90s. I was in WMC in Kambalda. We're, with our nickel sulphides, we're always looking over the fence around the laterites and saying they won't work. Ultimately, they are starting to work, and the Generation 5 plants are certainly working, especially now that everyone's realising that titanium actually works for an autoclave, and we should actually be using fiberglass instead of rubber lining as to ensure that you get that reliability, maintainability and availability in a plant. 2.25 million tonne per annum case. Again, that's a single processing chain. We'll finish off that scoping study. We'll put out that announcement very soon. And the other additional options that we have is mineralised neutraliser optimisation. So we're not looking at importing lime. We actually have the neutraliser on our property. So we're looking at having that within and actually processing that and using that for our acid. We also have a very short autoclave residence time compared to other projects, including Coral Bay. So our residence time is down to 40 minutes in our autoclave. And we also have scandium byproduct optimisation, so we should be having test results come out for scandium very soon. Understanding the scandium market is maybe 80 tonnes or 100 tonnes globally. We still have some more understanding to take around the transparency of that market. Regarding comparisons, our mineral resource overall, including the other 95% of the Kalgoorlie nickel project, 215.6 million tonnes, makes us the largest cobalt resource globally. Expected feed grade, 0.12% cobalt, 1% nickel. Our processing efficiency is higher than our competitors. Our contained metal is larger than our competitors. Maybe 1,000 tonnes out regarding cobalt compared to clean tech, however. We have 100% ownership, so we have no royalties to give away. So that's certainly a key advantage. So we 100% own our project. Corporate schedule. Financial investment decision around the middle of next year, calendar year. Longest lead item is the autoclave, so we're looking at about an 80 to 100 week delivery process on that, manufacture delivery. So we'll be looking at our final engineering studies or front-end engineering studies in the second quarter next year, and looking at putting an order in for our autoclave in the second half of next year. Speaking with Macquarie today, it sounds as though yellow kit is also a long lead time as well, so I'll be speaking to my project team about that as well. That may be a long lead time as well. The other key component is obviously the strategic partner, so we're looking at moving ahead with that very quickly as soon as we appoint our strategic advisor in the next week or so. As mentioned earlier, we have a treasure chest of projects. Obviously, the rest of the nickel laterite projects. We'll also be focusing on targeted programs around our Siberia Highway Ghost Rocks projects, the Black Range, Orbolis, Boyce Creek, Kalpini. And we'll also be looking at potential feed options for Goongarrie plant and additional processing hubs around there. So we won't necessarily put our second train, assuming we get the right strategic partners in, right next to the first train. We may put it next to where the actual other resources are. And we also have enough there for potential feed for third-party operators as well, such as Murrin Murrin. We certainly have a very good product quality, which is a great input. Upside potential, so again the resources, 700 million tonnes, metal contained, 400,000 tonnes of cobalt, nickel 5.6 million tonnes. Market cap, 95 million. Market cap per cobalt tonne you can see on the screen. So we're very cheap. We are a bargain compared to our competitors. Our portfolio. So we have a portfolio of other assets. We've also got the traditional nickel sulfides, which WMC was mining in the 1990s, early 2000s, before they got taken out by BHP and Nickel West. We also have some bulk tonnage gold projects, which are in a very, very good greenstone belt, which Matt Painter, our founding MD, will be running. And I've spent yesterday going through some of our assets in orange, so porphyries and epithermal copper gold projects, and the Lewis Pond zinc silver gold projects. There's also some bulk tonnage projects is there as well. So we do have a big project suite of projects. We will be looking at what we do with some of our New South Wales assets around joint ventures, around farming out, around spinning out. So that's certainly part of the strategic plan that we're looking at the moment. My view is that we've got 3 companies in one company at the moment. I thought I couldn't go without giving you the obligatory Eevee slides. No presentation would be without that. So there is a lot of belief around the Eevee and the demand side economics. There's a lot of analyst discussion around this being the next 100-year cycle. So there's plenty of literature and information around that. So I'll go through that quickly. Go to the summary slide. We will produce cobalt and nickel sulfates. We will have our first samples going through our continuous pilot plant. We're a limonite laterite deposit. The acid loves our nickel laterites and cobalt laterites. And through our sum of our analysis, incremental capital costs increase for sulphate circuits is expected. Finally, we are a multi-generational, multi-decade long life project. Our PFS was for 5% of our resource. Project scale is key. Strategic partner is also key. Goongarrie is perfectly placed for the Eevee and stationary storage demand growth, and there's significant amount of news flow over the coming months. Thank you.